Hi there, how you doing? I'm Robert from Master Guitar Academy and dolphinstreet.com. Perhaps you're getting tired sometimes of just playing when you're playing the blues. There's nothing wrong with playing that, but sometimes you want some options, right? You want to do something else and just... besides the licks, of course. So a cool way to play some chords that sounds really great over a slow blues like that is to play this thing. It's a simple idea. There's two chords that are moving back and forth like that. And the chords come on the 2 and the 2 and. So if I'm counting, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. See? 2 for the first chord and 2 and for the second chord. Okay, so which are these chords then? Well, if you want to name them, you can view the first one as an A6. It's like taking the A major triad, moving the top note, which is the 5th, up a whole step and you get an A6. So now the way I play the first chord is I put my middle finger on the 7th fret on the D string. And that's the root note A. And my index finger is on the G string on the 6th fret. That's the major third of the chord. And then my ring finger is on the B string on the 7th fret. And that's the 6th. So you can view this as a shape. You don't really need to know the name even, or the intervals that I'm talking about, although I think it's good to do that. That's why I'm mentioning it. It's always good to know what you're actually doing. But if you don't want that, that's fine. Just remember this grip. Because now we're going to take this grip and move it a whole step this direction. That means 2 frets on the fretboard. Down to there. And now it becomes an A7 sus2. Because now we have the minor 7th in the chord. We have the 2, or the 9 if you want to view it that way, and the 5 on top. But again, it's the same shape as the first one, it's just moved down a whole step. So again, you play the first chord on the 2 and the second chord on the 2 and. And then you just keep doing that when you're on that chord, which is now A, of course. We're playing an A shuffle. In between, I was just doing a little walk in like that. That's just A string, 3rd fret, hammer on to the 4th fret, and then D string, 2nd and 4th fret, and then back to the A chord. Right? It's a cool idea. I mean, you can even play that fret in between, chromatically going from 2 down to. That would sound like this. You probably don't want to do that all the time, but sometimes you can do that as a variation. And then for the 4 chord, you notice maybe that I went up to D and played. Now that's the same approach. This sounds the same as just moved up, but instead of figuring it up I mean, you could play it just taking this same shape and moving it up until you get to D. But then you don't have the D string easy to play a rhythm on. So instead of doing that, I'm just taking my index finger on the 7th fret and barring it across the bottom 3 strings. Because the way the guitar is tuned, that ends up being the fingering for those 2 chords. Just taking that barring of 3 strings, 7th fret and 5th fret. So that's over D. That would be the 4 chord. So instead of doing you can go right? Pretty sweet sounding approach. And then for E, of course, when you go to the 5 chord, instead of playing, you can play and then D. So that was now 9th fret and 7th fret for the E chord. That's barring the bottom 3. So that's a cool approach to playing some simple chords that you can let ring for quite a while. And that's a way to break out of that steady shuffle that may feel limiting sometimes. All right, now I have a lesson on my website, masterguitaracademy.com, that teaches you a whole song doing this approach and a bunch of cool licks. And I also have some other products on my website that you can use to learn some sweet licks to play over a blues like this. So check that out if you're interested. Cheers for now.